Oh,
Here we go, buddy. All right.
hello, hello. Are we recording already?
Yes, I just started recording. Today we're gonna have a very serious conversation about socialism in America.
Serious? Do I look like I'm serious? Yes, I'm always serious. Hello,
Absolutely.
hello, hello.
Hey,
Oh,
how
wait.
are you?
Who, who, who's this?
Well, I'm Nathan Hawk,
Who's-
as my subscribers know, and I'm here with your name, sir?
Me? My name is Klaus. Yes, I'm
Klaus.
Klaus.
Oh, okay, and I'm here with Klaus.
Yes, I'm a little confused. I think I'm seeing black. Something wrong with my monitor here.
Yeah, well, if I mean, you could be referring to me, maybe. I'm not
Ja,
sure.
ich sehe schwarz. Da ist ein Moor.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, it's fine, fine. I love your people. Yes, I helped your people a lot. Back in the 70s. In South Africa, I helped a lot. Well, okay, it was white people in charge back then, but
Yeah, well,
we provided them weapons and weapons research. It was a great time, and of course it was for humanitarian reasons. Yes, and because because you see. As you can see now, in America, people are very unhappy. And the reason they are unhappy is because there are so many minorities. And so we help people in South Africa, help the minorities. So we kept them all separate, and then they were much happier. Yes.
okay. So that kind of brings us into where are you right now? Let's talk about that.
Me, I'm Klaus Schwab. I'm at Davos. This is just my secret underground bunker at Davos. For in case of in case the nuclear. I mean, the presents we gave to South Africa. In case someone still gets hold of them. Yes.
Okay, so right
So
now,
I'm in my bunker. So in case they come back.
okay, so you can't tell us your exact location. You said Davos?
No, it's secret. No, it's not Davos. It's no. You misheard. It was somewhere else. It's
Oh,
secret.
okay,
It's on an island. Yes.
okay. Well, today we're trying to get a little discussion going on about socialism and how it differs
Yes.
when it
Yes.
comes to countries.
Socialism is great. Socialism is the future. But no, I mean, oh, I misspoke. Sorry.
Okay, no, I mean,
Stakeholder capitalism is the future, which is definitely not socialism. As you can see, it sounds completely different. It has the word capitalism in it, so it definitely isn't socialism. Yes.
okay. So let me get this straight, because it sounds like you might have been pro socialism for a second. Maybe you want to explain.
No. I'm a capitalist. Don't you know? I have so much money. I'm the biggest capitalist of all. So you can trust me. I will not implement socialism. Just give me all your money, and you won't need it anymore. You'll be so much happier without money.
Okay, let me ask you this: wherever you are, because it's it's non-disclosed. Are you
Yeah,
guys
it's not Davos. Definitely not.
okay? Wherever you are, what is the system where you're located?
What system is stakeholder capitalism? Everyone very happy here.
Okay. So you guys are, obviously capitalists, but we want to talk about what socialism is, because there's so many people who are talking about it in a kind of positive manner. I mean, I was on the
Yes. Well, socialism is great as well. See, that's why we have stakeholder capitalism. It has all the benefits of capitalism and all the benefits of socialism at the same time. And I'll be in charge, so it will be very good. And you won't have any money, so don't get confused with the capitalism thing. You won't have any money, but you'll be very happy because me and my friends will provide for you. Yes.
okay. So it kind of sounds like you're a capitalist, but you're advocating for socialism. I mean, how does that work?
No, I'm advocating for stakeholder capitalism. It's much better.
Okay, so wherever you are, wherever, because we don't know, it's
Yes,
non-disclosed.
I'm definitely not a socialist, or definitely not a national socialist or anything like that. Stakeholder capitalism is much better, and it improves all the mistakes that the guy who my father worked for made. Yes.
Well, I'm picking up an accent from you, and I can tell
No,
you're not.
what accent? My English is perfect. What do you mean accent?
Yeah. I can tell you're not from the States, so I'm gonna assume you're Eastern European.
What do you mean Eastern European? I am German. My grandfather and father and everyone was German. And the guy my father worked for was, well, he was Austrian, but never mind.
Okay, so the lid is off the pot right now. We can tell.
What do you mean lit? I am a totally democratic guy from totally democratic country. Yes. And
Just
I
come out.
definitely don't.
Why don't you
intend
just come
to
out
rule
with
the
it,
world.
man? Schwab,
I think.
Klaus, come out with it. You
No.
sound like you're.
Oh, you scare me. You scare me. Yes, yes. You look so dark. It scares me. It reminds me of the 70s. And that didn't work out. And that was all. No,
You're
no,
such
no,
a
no, no.
racist.
You scare me. I go back. I go back. Bye
I
bye.
do it racist like you.
I'm not
Jesus.
racist. You are racist for criticizing me. Yes.
Jesus. So now that the lid is off the pot, why don't you come out and talk to us
No,
about
I'm against racism. I'm against racism. That's why you should support me, because I'm against racism and I'm against these evil racists like Donald Trump. Yes.
Okay, all right, anti-Donald Trump. So let me get this straight. You're German because you just came out and said so. A minute ago, you were saying that you're socialist or you believe in socialism. That's what it sounded like to me. And you're racist. Okay,
What?
well,
No, I'm not. I'm against racism. I'm against racism.
no. Hold on. This could be
a future for everyone where everyone can live happily segregated from each other. Yes, then there will be so much happier. Yes.
Is there possible for people to be socialists in Germany and not be racist?
What do you mean? I'm not racist.
Okay.
Yes, it's possible. Don't you see? I am proof. I am proof because I'm not racist. Yes.
Okay. Well, moving along, being that you're not a socialist, how do you feel about socialism in terms of because there's different types of socialism?
Well, socialism is great. The only problem is that in the past I was not in power, and so I came up with new socialism where I'm in charge, and then it will be much better. Yes.
Okay. Well, being that you're not in the States, your understanding of socialism isn't my understanding of socialism. So maybe you want to explain what socialism is, your national socialism, wherever you may be. I mean, it sounded like
I'm not national socialist. I'm against national socialism. I'm against it. I mean, yes, my father worked for this Austrian guy building some secret weapons, but this was a long time ago, and I have changed. And yes, I'm still running the same company, but the company has changed. We're still building the same things, but it doesn't matter because I'm not a national socialist. Yes. I'm just a regular socialist. No, I mean capitalist.
It sounds like you're scared. Is there some sort of negative connotation when you say national socialist?
Yes, I'm scared. You're scaring me, so I have to go. Yes, it's this is getting tiresome, and I have to go. And you're scaring me, so bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. That was a little strange.
Yeah, that was a bit strange. So I had to stop because his mouth kept getting more and more difficult to move.
Wow. Okay, so I'm about to talk to somebody with common sense.
Yeah, I'm totally not like him. I'm totally nice guy. I'm totally, and I mean that in all seriousness. So don't get scared. I'm totally not a national socialist because this is, as you can see, this is of course the uniform of the good guys. I told you already. I got this from my father-in-law. It's actually the original uniform. It doesn't fit me at all.
Okay,
but don't be scared. I'm one of the good guys.
You don't look like a good guy though.
No. This is not what you think. This is a uniform from the national from the National People's Army of Germany, the German National People's Army, which of course was the army of the German Socialist Unity Party, which of course was Eastern Germany. So actual socialism, good socialism, not the evil national socialism, which is evil and completely opposed to the traditional socialism. So I'm the guy that people in Silicon Valley love, because I'm a true socialist. Everything else, not true socialism.
Okay, so you guys are the socialists that actually don't starve people, and there's not going to be any genocide or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely everything in Eastern Germany was totally fine. Yeah, people always had enough to eat. Well, if you were in the party, you had enough to eat. Yeah, definitely nobody getting shot or killed or executed. Nothing bad ever happened there. It was like a socialist Disneyland.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, we all know about German history, and we know about the Disneyland. Absolutely.
Yeah, just Disneyland's over here. Everything's great, and right now, definitely nothing bad going on now either. I mean, yeah, let's not get into this. Yeah, so I hope I didn't scare anyone away, but like I said, just the good kind of socialism. In reality, there is no good kind of socialism. It's all persecution of minorities, and it's all forced labor camps and uh, killing of anyone who disagrees. So there is no good kind of socialism, and you have to have that. A lot of people don't get that, and we talked about that before. A lot of people in America seem to have the misconception that socialism would just be like Sweden, right?
Right.
Yeah, I hate to break it, but Sweden is a capitalist country. So
let me ask you this before you go further. What makes it a capitalist? I want to know, because I don't know the difference. I don't know why you would call that capitalism when you have all these tax dollars going towards healthcare. They don't have to pay for healthcare there. They have.
Yeah, but that's not the that's what you Americans got wrong. You think the definition of socialism would be free healthcare.
Well, no, I don't think that. I think that there's money that's.
I know you don't think that. I said you Americans, not you specifically.
Yeah, well, I think there's money put into a pot, and once that money, a bunch of money's put into a pot, it takes care of these services that they.
Yeah. That's called social welfare. Social welfare.
Okay.
That's that's exactly what I mean. Americans seem to have confused social welfare with socialism.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not at all the same thing. Social welfare is social welfare. You can have you can have social welfare in any economic system.
It's basically a safety net. It's a safety net.
Right. It doesn't have anything to do with socialism. Socialism is to put it simply, in one sentence, it's or in one word, it's a state economy. That's all it is. And social welfare doesn't have, you can have social welfare in a state economy. You can have social welfare in a capitalist economy. And a capitalist, there are basically only two kinds of economies, right? In the past, the only economic model we really had was a free market economy. Well, or not necessarily a free market economy, but a market economy. So it was always a market economy. You of course had some, dictatorships, even in the past. I'm thinking like ancient Romans and so on, and they of course could make the market economy less free. If you had a dictator, he could intervene in the market economy, make it less free, usually under the pretext of social welfare, right? But in reality, the money they take from you under the pretext of using it for social welfare, well, before it goes to social welfare, it goes to the state. So the state is taking money from you, which makes the economy less free, which makes the market economy less free. So in that cases, you would no longer have a free market economy, but you would still have a market economy. It was even if it was a dictatorship, and even if it was heavily restricted, and even if you had heavy taxation because of social welfare and so on, it was still a market economy. There was no society ever that didn't have a market economy. It could only be, the only difference was how free it was, right? And that depended on the government. But socialism is a completely different form of economy. It isn't a market economy at all. Socialism is a state economy. That wasn't there before. So the state, there are no markets anymore. You have no private business owners. You have no businesses. Everything is owned by the state. That is socialism.
Right, right. So you're in Germany, right?
No, what made you think that?
I think I told you I've been to Germany before. I was in Wolfsburg. I went to Munich, and then I went to a place called Leipzig. You ever heard of Leipzig?
What was the book? The book you went to?
The book?
No, you said something book.
Oh,
I went to something book.
Wolfsburg.
Is it with an M or with a W?
A M.
Oh,
maybe it's a W. I thought it was a Mo.
Did it have a castle? Did it have a castle?
They had a castle. They had castles there, right? They had castles.
Yeah, that was my city actually.
Where you are now?
Not well. Let's not get too specific, but it probably was my city. Yes. Let's just leave it like that. It has a nice castle on a hill with a river, and it was my city. Let's just leave it at that. Wow. We don't have to correct the pronunciation. Mosberg probably was called. Yeah. But so it was my city.
So you heard of Leipzig as well, right? Leipzig, did I say it right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so there was a university in Leipzig, and Leipzig was also, I believe it was Western Germany. And Western Germany.
Well, Leipzig isn't Western Germany. What are you talking about?
Oh, it was Eastern?
Yeah.
Okay, I get confused because one part was communist.
Yeah, that's where the uniform is from.
Okay. So
can't get out of it. I'm too fat. see how bad capitalism is? It makes you so fat you don't even fit in the socialist uniforms anymore.
Well, maybe you should move to Eastern Germany because they say that there's residue there. I mean, have you ever witnessed any residue in terms of you go into a store or a shop and people still kind of have that mentality, a little residue of that socialist mentality in terms of the service? Is there a difference?
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Yes, it's not even that bad in it's. Well, at the beginning, it was really bad in Eastern Germany in terms of service, but you have bad service in all of Germany, so it's not that, you wouldn't notice it because all Germans are, in the service industry, Germans can be pretty unfriendly, Western Germans as well. So you wouldn't notice the difference as much. But I notice it a lot when I go to other countries that were in the former Soviet Union, like in Czechia, I still know it as Czechoslovakia. But anyway, I notice it there a lot. It's even worse there. But it's a combination of still having that mentality, so that they don't have they're not really used to a free market economy. So they're not friendly. When you go shopping, they're not friendly. They're not trying to be friendly. It's just in general. But if on top of that, you're a foreigner and you don't speak their language, then you're just, I got kicked out. I went to a shoe store in Prague, and I wanted to buy shoes. And because I wasn't able to speak Czech, they just kicked me out of the store. They literally, had me, they physically kicked me out. Well, they didn't kick me, but they, in an unfriendly way, escorted me out of the store.
See, I didn't know that about Prague. Prague is beautiful, and I never thought about Prague like that. But I know in Germany, the dramatic language is pretty harsh. It's like I'm trying not to insult.
What did you do? Das ist überhaupt nicht so ein Blödsinn. Das ist nur, wenn man schreit. Wenn man schreit, dann klingt es so. Wenn man nicht schreit, dann klingt es total normal. Ich weiß überhaupt nicht, was du für ein Problem hast. I was explaining that German sounds totally normal, and I don't know what's wrong with you. It's only when you scream it that it sounds harsh.
That's some pretty scary stuff, man. So I think I told you I went to see Macbeth, and I was in Munich, and I went to see Macbeth with a friend, and my leg touched this lady next to me. She was well dressed, you know, Macbeth, everybody's well dressed or whatever. I was probably dressed like this, you know, I was just relaxed. But anyway, my leg touched hers and she moved it over, and it happened the first time. I guess I was sitting, you know, the problem with men nowadays where we sit with our legs closed that the feminists always bring up. I mean, we sit with our legs open rather. And when my leg touched her the second time, she made sure to let me know that she paid for that seat. So she was pretty much showing me the receipt, you know, to that seat. And my friend at the time had to tell me, like, you know, he doesn't speak German. And she was really, really pretty nasty. So honestly, I assumed she was racist. And yeah, my friend at the time, she had to tell me that you know, we can't assume that. So is there a lot of that out there? Do you think that you guys have to deal, or Black people have to deal with bouts of racism there?
Yeah, they definitely. But like I said, it's not just Black people. It's like when I go to other countries in Europe, to other countries in the European Union, especially the ones that used to be part of the Soviet Union. You know, I just gave you an example of how I get treated. But of course, if you're Black, then it's even worse.
Yeah, because I was about to say, you go to Prague, the people are white. Like, they can't tell who you are. You look like one of them.
Yeah, but when I start speaking, they notice that I don't speak their language.
Oh, that we got to make up a new name for that. That wouldn't be racism. That's something else. We got to make a new category of discrimination for that one. Maybe the left will find one.
No, it's still sort of, it's still nationalism, you know. You know, even countries that don't call themselves national socialist, well, let's put it this way. Germany back then, in the Third Reich, they had socialist elements, not just elements, you know, the party program of the National Socialists. By the way, the complete name is National Socialist German Workers' Party. So what does that sound like? But anyway, like half of they have like this infamous 25-point party program, and half of the points are like nationalistic demands, and the other demands are all socialist demands. So they always had these socialist demands, and then they had typical socialist demands in there, like basically, you know, the abolition of privately owned land, and the state ownership of big companies, of trusts. So
Okay.
all the trusts and all the big enterprises, they would all go to the state, and they did. So they had a lot of socialism in there. And of course, you know, in addition to that, they also had the nationalistic demands. But my point is that they also had you know, nowadays we just focus on the nationalistic part, but they always had their socialist side as well. And the same is true of all other socialist regimes. They are socialists, but they're also very nationalistic, which is why I get into trouble when I go to countries in the former Soviet Union, you know, because they're not used to foreigners, and they don't treat them friendly. You know, that's just how it was back then. And you can see that now in you know, China and countries like that. You know, China is ruled by a communist party, but China is also extremely nationalistic, and now they're even getting like really xenophobic, and the way Black people in China are treated is actually pretty much the worst. I don't know if you heard about that, but
Oh yeah, the Africans out there. Yeah, I've heard about it. But I'm just asking for your opinion here. What the discrimination that you felt when you were in parts of the former Soviet Union? What was the difference between that and your perception of what a Black person feels in America? Do you think there's the Black person is a
I'm neither Black nor am I an American. So how would I know what a Black person
Well, you
feels
can
like
have a
in America.
perception. You can have a perception.
You're the expert in that field, not me.
I can explain my part, my side, and you can explain yours, but you have a perception of what it might be, whether it be the same. Do you think it's different? Do you feel a person, it's about their feelings, right? Do you think you feel different when they discriminate against you?
Well, the only thing I can talk about, because I don't know, because, you know, and I don't, I don't, uh, I don't pretend to know how that would feel, you know, so I'm not gonna go into that.
That's safe.
Because even though, you know, I'm wearing this cap, I'm not, you know, I'm not like that at all. I love everybody, but and that ties into what, you know, what we originally wanted to talk about. I can talk about, you know, well, actually, of course, again, I can't talk about Black Lives Matters, because again, that would be a topic you should talk about. But what I can talk about is, and what I do know, is about you know, Germany doing the, you know, doing the Third Reich, and how the National Social, not only that, but how the National Socialists came into power in the first place. Because I don't know what Black Lives Matter promises people, no idea. But I know what the National Socialists promised people, you know, and people, you know, especially in America, because of the Hollywood movies, they get like this misconceptions. They think that the National Socialists, they were just like evil people, you know, and they just wanted to kill everyone. And it wasn't like that at all. I mean, yes, it was like that, but towards the end, it was like that. Yeah, but that's not how they started out. I mean, you know, that Austrian dude, you know, he didn't stand on a soapbox and said, "Who wants concentration camps? You know, who wants persecution? Who wants war? Who wants famine?"
He actually did a lot for people in the beginning, right?
No, he wasn't making demands like that. You know, I mean, that's what he was.
Didn't he do a lot originally to win people over? He was building infrastructure and stuff.
Uh, he promised, yes. So he didn't rise to power on promises of destruction and war and discrimination and genocide. You know, that's what he delivered, but that's not what he promised people, obviously.
Right. Right.
So, and it's not like it doesn't have anything to do with Germans, you know. It's not like Germans are intrinsically evil. I don't believe in that, because I don't believe in racism. I don't believe any race is intrinsically evil, right?
So let me ask you this: you have a party system. I don't think you guys have Democrat and Republicans like we do here. What do you guys call y'all? What is the more conservative party and then the more liberal party? What are they called?
I still want to talk about. We can get to that, but I still want to explain the thing with the National Socialists, how they came to power.
Okay, go ahead.
So they came to power by promising people. Well, it was doing. It was like right after World War I, right? And Germans got, you know, Germans felt like they were treated very unfairly. And after World War I, there was a sort of revolution by the Social Democrats. They abolished the monarchy. And yeah, but it was just, you know, the policies were very bad. Everyone was hungry. You know, there was no food. And there was, you know, they were just printing money, you know, to make up for it. But that, of course, led to inflation. So, you know, you probably saw those pictures. You know, if people wanted to buy a piece of bread, they had to come in with a, you know, with a whole package of money, because one piece of bread costs like 100 trillion marks, you know, and I'm not even making that up. A piece of bread did cost 100 trillion marks. So it was, the inflation was just insane. And so people were looking for solutions, right? And then entered the National Socialists, and they, you know, the way they spoke, it appealed to people, you know, because you know, it's not like they started out with all the evil stuff right away. You know, they did, but at the beginning it didn't sound evil. You know, it was evil, but it didn't sound evil, because it was appealing to the Germans. So they said things like, yeah, we Germans got treated unfairly, and this is the fault. You can see, the current government. It's the fault of the current government that you're hungry, and we see you're hungry, and you want food, and you want work, and you want to get out of the inflation, and this is all the fault of the present government. And the present government, the present government is in reality, it's. I'm just going to replace it. Is it's controlled by a certain ethnicity, and this ethnicity is behind all this suffering, and we Germans have always been the victims. Yes. Because and then they were giving examples like, oh yeah, it was always America that invaded Germany, and that and America would be so evil, and the evil capitalists and bankers in America that are controlling the world, and they concocted all these conspiracy theories. And they were saying, yeah, and the bankers in America are controlled by a certain ethnicity. And we, of course, we're not racist. No, we're not racist. We are against racism. We are the victims of their racism. They are evil, yes. And so then it went from there. And I think that sounds very similar to what Black Lives Matter is doing now. They're using the same kind of tactic, but I wouldn't know that. So you tell me.
I mean, Black Lives Matter, the entire political left is kind of running under the guise of caring and helping people. I mean, I think it's been like that for some time.
Right. And the National Socialists, they had like, to get out, to help people, to help the poor Germans who were suffering,
And it's not that. I think there are some people who want to help, to be honest.
Yeah, they had like, it looked like a good thing. They had like fundraisers and drives to give people food, and they were collecting things, at the beginning, because they wanted to paint themselves.
And people joined the party because they really wanted to, help and contribute.
Not really. They joined the party because they want to be privileged, but yeah, under the guise of helping people.
Well, here in Black Lives Matter, I have friends who are down with Black Lives Matter. I mean, the terms Black Lives Matter, you can't really disagree with that, but that's how they kind of get you. They start these terms, these what do you want to call it? Slogans under the guise of helping, we're going to help you. We want to do things for you. Black Lives Matter. How could you disagree and say Black lives don't matter?
Right. And the National Socialists, they were pretending to help the German people. So, if you disagreed with them, again, they would say, well, are you against Germany? Are you against our culture? What does that have? The one thing doesn't have anything to do with the other thing. The National Socialists don't represent Germany. They don't represent our culture. But
are they voted in?
They intentionally confused these definitions.
Did you hear me? Are they voted in? How do they come into power? Do people vote for them, or how does it work?
That's a good question, but you should know. Well, a lot of people have the misconception that Hitler was democratically elected. He wasn't. People never vote. Well, people eventually did vote for him, but that was after he already gained power and the election was rigged. So, but he never won in a fair democratic election where you could actually vote for other parties. When he was already in power, he had like a fake election where you had no choice but to vote for him, but never a fair election. In the democratic elections, the National Socialists were never voted for. I mean, they never had the majority, and Hitler was never voted into office. It was Hindenburg. Hindenburg was voted into office precisely because people didn't want Hitler as a head of state. So Hindenburg was the head of state. Hitler was not voted as the head of state. Hitler did not have power. Hindenburg was in power. And Hindenburg had a different party. So it wasn't even, it was a completely different party. It was opposed to National Socialism. And that's why people voted for Hindenburg. And Hindenburg was opposed to Hitler. And he got elected. Hindenburg got elected. Hitler never got elected. The way Hitler gained power is after Hindenburg was elected, there was an attack on our sacred government building. Evil,
Sounds very
evil
familiar.
attackers. No, it was hideous. These people were anti-government and they were against. See, they were not against Hitler. They were against our government. In a way, they were even against Hindenburg. They attacked our government, the Reichstag. The Reichstag fire. And the Reichstag is like this huge building. It's much bigger than whatever you guys have. A beautiful building, and it was completely destroyed. Not just a few windows smashed or something.
Oh, okay.
It was completely destroyed.
It was really destroyed, not like January.
No, it was completely in flames. It was in flames.
Oh,
and it was these evil, and anti-government extremists, and they were, so it's not at all that, or at least that's what the National Socialists said back then, the National Socialists painted it like these guys who attacked the government building, they are against democracy. They would, that's how they painted it. They would be against democracy. And the National Socialists would be upholding democracy and to protect our government and to protect our democracy and to protect our government building. They now have to instigate emergency decrees. And, and the National Socialists always had a paramilitary wing. So they had a paramilitary. They weren't the official military. They just had their thugs, their paramilitary. Evil guys. Street fighters, street thugs, right? But they went into the government. I mean, not obviously not the government building that was burned down, but into the other places of government. They stormed them and basically forced everyone at gunpoint to make basically forced everyone and forced Hindenburg to abdicate and give all power to Hitler. And the reasoning was that this was now necessary as an emergency measure, was only supposed to be temporary, only supposed to to protect our sacred government buildings from attack. So these emergency measures would be necessary precisely to protect the democracy. Yes, that's how they framed it.
Okay, so
and that's how Hitler gained power.
Okay,
so and of course, in reality, most people nowadays, and even most historians, sort of agree that Hitler was behind the Reichstag fire in the first place, because that was his plan all along.
I was about to ask about that. I mean, it's kind of sounded like a false flag, and you actually sound kind of like a blueprint to another country if they want
to. Somalia.
Yeah.
Sure. No, let's not talk about that, because if you start talking about that, you can forget about posting this video on me.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, in terms of these like nefarious kind of deeds, that's one way where people can pull it off and get laws passed, is kind of what I wanted to say. But yeah, that nationalist party, the whole idea of nationalism, period. Okay, so we have white nationalism out here, right? And the white nationalism out here is considered evil right off the bat. I can say I'm a black nationalist, and it's not.
I agree.
So
I think it is evil.
You say it's evil, but I can say I'm a black nationalist and I'm not evil. You know that, right?
Well, nationalism is maybe the right word. I don't know about nationalism. Nationalism can just mean that you like your country.
Right.
So liking your country isn't evil, but it depends what you mean with it, right?
Well, again, isn't it another term kind of hijacked, where if you say it now, it means something else, but in reality, by definition, it really doesn't.
Well, I guess it really depends on the context. It depends. It really depends on what you mean with it.
Well, earlier I was trying to ask you about the parties, because out here it's a one party kind of hijacks, or they go along with the bad guys who hijack terms and words so that you can't use language properly. And I kind of wanted to get to whether or not you guys have that same sort of thing? Because y'all liberal, y'all pretty liberal out there, as far as I saw.
Well, no, at least in the past we didn't. No, we could say whatever, but because I was just saying, be careful what you say. Or otherwise we can only post it on like very small platforms, and of course, since everyone is using the same internet, we also have to be careful about what we say now. But it's the big companies on the internet and that are located in America.
Geez, I hope I didn't say something
that are doing
already.
the censoring. That are doing the censoring for the whole world now.
I hope I didn't say anything already. I mean, I'm just not used to, in America, it's a little different, I think, especially I'm in Georgia, so we're a red state. So it's really as free as you're going to get, I guess, in terms of what's going on around the world. So right now in Germany, you guys have some sort of shield or surveillance or something going on? Like, what is it like there? Can you say it? Can you talk about it?
Oh, like censorship? Like not in the past, except for Eastern Germany and certain other regimes. Other than that, you could talk freely. We have basically the same constitution as you guys. It mirrors basically the American Constitution. So we have the same rights, and in the past we did have the same rights, but now I wouldn't really know, but I do get the feeling that you guys don't even enjoy these rights anymore. So and since everything is like since everyone is sort of dependent on these internet companies, we don't have them anymore either.
Right. Well, obviously we're not going through it like you guys. Well, in the bigger cities, I think they are, but not, like I said, not where I am right now, even though if you were to compare my freedom to someone 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, yeah, you can probably tell a difference. Yeah, so in terms of it moving along, because we got to wrap this up soon, I wanted to ask about COVID. Like, you guys are dealing with it.
I was sort of
oh, you got to stay away from that too.
I was sort of talking about that as well. Jeez. But I didn't want to mention it because it's one of those evil words that you're not supposed to say.
Somebody pressed the red button under their desk somewhere. They're coming to your house right now. I'm so sorry, man. I hope it's not that bad, really.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. We should have had like a list, a blacklist.
It's not that bad, but I don't want to talk about it for fear of people coming into
the world we live in, man. The world we live in today is
no, it's pretty bad. But let's we can talk about that. But let's do that as make that some other day as a separate video.
Okay.
And then we can talk about things more directly and mention all these things. And then we're just gonna publish it on small platforms.
Okay. All right. So is there anything you want to ask me about out here?
Well, I think we pretty much covered it now, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty much
something I wanna show you. This was from my uniform. It came off. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? It's one of those blurry. It's one of those communist symbols.
It looks like a compass, upside down compass, almost like a Masonic symbol. Is it that in the middle?
It looks like a Masonic symbol, but it was the symbol of Eastern Germany. I don't know, you can't really see it.
Oh, there it is. I had it for a second.
That came with my uniform.
Yeah, that's a racist uniform you own. Pretty racist.
It gets better. What I'm gonna show you now is that this didn't come with my uniform. This actually came with the uniform my grandfather wore. Well, just the youth uniform, youth club. Yeah. You see this lovely symbol?
Oh yeah, the hammer and sickle. Yep. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, you're seeing all the symbols, right?
Oh wow, I just saw the swastika in the bottom now.
I said my grandfather.
Geez, so, 1934.
Yeah.
That's the thick of it, just about. Well, when it began.
Yeah. And that was actually something you could wear on your uniform. But it was more like, not like the official uniforms, like more the, like the youth organization.
How long did it
Uh,
last too? It was like 7 years, right? See, now I'm not sure if I'm censored totally, if I can't even mention that stuff.
uh,
It
the
was
regime.
7 years, I
How
believe,
long? How
right?
long the regime lasted?
Yeah, well, the reason for World War II, if I can say the H word, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, we actually said it a lot.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
But it's probably better if you don't say it too often.
okay, okay.
If you still wanna post this on bigger platforms. Um. What did I want to say? What was your question? No, I
I
forgot.
was asking how long did it last?
Oh
Because
yeah.
that's just 1934.
A,
It
a,
ended in
yeah.
42.
My grandfather had this on his H youth uniform. Okay, and you saw the hammer and sickle. And of course there's the eagle, and there's that thingy the eagle sits on. Also a sun symbol. A sun symbol. Yeah.
That must have been something, having Thanksgiving meals at your house. Oh, you guys don't even do Thanksgiving. Jesus.
Thanksgiving, what's that? Thanksgiving. So, what did you want to ask? How long the regime lasted? You were something like 7 years. What did you mean?
Well,
The
I was
regime
talking
lasted
about,
12 years.
was it 12 years?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, before it ended, before the end of World War II, and
Yeah, from the time the from the time of the Reichstag fire, when H seized power,
right.
and the time H shot himself, 12 years.
12 years. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's probably insulting for people to bring that up to you a lot. I can imagine you come to the States and they hear your accent and they want to bring that up out of all your culture, all your
I was
art.
afraid. I was afraid of that.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about that, that happened a lot when I was in England,
Mhm.
and it also happened in America, but only white people did that, And when I was in high school, uh, I went to a high school in the US for a year, and everyone in my class was black. Oh, not in every class, but in most of the classes I was in, everyone was black, and I was expecting it to be even worse, and to everyone to kind of greet me like that and make jokes about that and something, and see me as an evil German. Yes.
Mhm.
And but it wasn't like that at all. It was you know some of the white people were like that, but the black people were like uh really the most tolerant, and they didn't bring up that stuff at all. At the end, I realized that they all thought of me that way. They all thought that I was a um, more nationalistic sort of socialist. They all thought that, but I would have never known that, because they were all very friendly, open, and tolerant. But that was, that was sort of the mentality of the 90s. It's like where people were taught to be colorblind, and now being colorblind is suddenly racist. But that's
I honestly don't like that term myself. I don't like that term. I don't like African American, because we see color and there are differences in this culture, and I don't like to play like ignorant, like we don't, because I
yeah, but
actually,
that was the mentality back then, like 22 years ago,
right,
when I went to high school.
right.
That was the mentality back then. That was what was being taught back then.
Yeah, I get it. You
and
say
and
I'm colorblind, and
that led to especially black people actually being very open toward me and not making these kinds of jokes.
right,
So I appreciated
right,
that.
right, 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 right. Okay, I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up. I gotta get this roast in the oven, so to speak. But it's been great tossing it up. I think we got to do this again. What do you think? How do you think it went? Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll post it on our platforms. And Klaus, I can never say it properly. Mr. Klaus, it was nice talking to him for a little while. And yeah, you have your own channel. I don't know if you want to say it, but maybe you do or you don't, because maybe some of my people want to check you out. And Mr. Klaus, no, no, yes,
yeah, you can. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. Emmanuel Goldstein.
you got to say that like American style. My people are American.
I don't know how to say it American style. It's a German name.
Your last name is German. Oh yeah, that sounds Jewish to me.
You.
Well, Jewish.
That sounds racist.
Schreiber.
That sounds more to me.
That's new. That's new for me as a black dude. When I learned that, I think Schreiber means like you have the name like Schreiber. One of them means table.
These are all German. It's all German names and German words.
Yeah, I just learned that like a while ago. I didn't even know that all that stuff was German. Goldstein isn't German, is it?
Well, if you pronounce it like that, then no.
Yeah.
Goldstein.
Yeah, that one sounds
would
scary.
be a perfectly German name if you pronounce it like that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty scary. So anyway, we're gonna end on that note. And yeah, you can check Emmanuel out at Emmanuel Gold. You're gonna remember Goldstein. I don't think you're gonna go for that.
Yeah, so yeah, if you pronounce it American, then it's Emmanuel Goldstein.
Then you'll know how to spell it pretty easily. Yeah.
Yeah, two M's.
Right. And if you're posting this on your page, you can check me at Nathan Hawk. You just look up Nathan Hawk. And my page is called Nathan Hawk as well. And we can take it from there. You know, we can do this another time. And I think that'll be pretty good. We'll talk about some socialism and some communism and some differences, because there's so many people who seem to love it. And we need to tell them why they may want to rethink it. But anyway, I appreciate it, Emmanuel. Appreciate your time. And Klaus, and we'll talk again soon, all right?
Yep.
Have a good one, man.
So do I press